Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I have a message coming to you which is all around this idea and concept around depression. And what I really want to share with you is hopefully a new perspective that will get you thinking differently about whether you're somebody who's currently struggling with some depression, or you know somebody in your life who is in this cycle of depression themselves. And ultimately what that really is that depression is simply a feedback mechanism to get you to wake up to the truth of who you really are. And I'm going to dive into that and really unpack what on earth I'm talking about when I say that. But ultimately, you know, our depression, I'm talking about what I've spoken to you guys about in the past, about situational depression, when we are, you know, not... when whatever our model of the world is, you know, it's not lining up with our current reality. And so we've got this perception as to how life should be, or whatever area of life we're currently focused on, how it should be, and we're seeing how it is totally not what our current circumstances and reality are. And so it creates what I call a situational depression, meaning that we're depressed about our current situation. And it's really why I've spoken to you guys many times about the fact that, you know, taking antidepressants and all of this sort of medication around your depression, I personally think is counterproductive for us to really move forward and make a difference and make some changes in our lives. And the reason why I say that is because I've had the personal experience in terms of having a time in my life where all at the same time, I lost a long-term relationship. I lost my home, my home for about 5 years. I lost my very best girlfriend. I lost my job, and I had to move back home with my parents and restart being a uni student and going back and doing another course. And so all of that happened at the one time, and I entered a state of depression. But what happened was I started seeing a psychologist and talking about the challenges and the issues. And I also went to the doctor who got me to see a psychologist. But at that time, the doctor actually prescribed me antidepressants. So I thought, yeah, okay, well, whatever. I didn't know anything about personal development or anything like this. I'd never had this level of depression in my life. And of course, we trust somebody who's got empowerment in an area in which we do not. At that time, that was the doctor. And I took these antidepressants, and it must have been about a week or two, I think I took these for. And what I found was they completely numbed me emotionally to the point where I couldn't really focus. I wasn't impacted by the situation that was around me. I was kind of just emotionless. And I stopped taking them because what I realized was this is taking away any of my drive and motivation to actually deal with the challenges, face what's going on, and get into action and shift my reality. And so that's why I talk a lot about situational depression, and I oftentimes question any sort of medication that people might take in terms of their depression and what they're prescribed. And ultimately, I've heard recently, because I've been, again, I'm just totally, you guys are going to get hit with so much of DeMartini stuff for a while, I think, because ultimately that's what I'm currently immersing myself with. And one of the things that I've heard DeMartini talk into, which definitely relates to this situational depression that I've been talking about for a while, is that, you know, this depression is ultimately because we are not living in our values, and we're expecting ourselves to subordinate and live in the values of others, and therefore we're setting our goals and our ways of being in things that are actually not our values. They're not actually a priority or of meaning to us, and we are getting into these states of depression. And ultimately what we need to recognize is that we do not need any form of medication. We actually need to look realistically at what's going on and what we are doing in our lives and the way that we're living, and recognize that depression is a feedback mechanism. It's powerful. It's not bad. It is good. It is there to wake you up, to remind you to look at your life and say, hey, things are not working here. You know, whose values am I currently living in? Do I even know what my own values are? Do I even have vision that's really meaningful and inspiring for me, not anybody else? And that is what these states of depression and these negative sort of states of being that we all get into at times as human beings, you know, it's there to wake us up to the reality of what's really going on, and to wake us up to discovering a new truth as to who we are. And I'm really, really starting to believe that identifying your highest priority values in your life is one of the greatest ways to identify and get clarity over who you really are. And your life demonstrates your values. So, you know, to use me as an example, you know, so my highest values are teaching, learning, beauty and health, and travel. And anything outside of those values, if I'm setting myself goals that are outside of traveling or teaching or learning or my health and beauty, if I'm setting goals outside of those or expecting myself to do a certain thing outside of those values, I'm gonna get into a state of depression, because I'm going to, you know, physiologically on all levels, I'm gonna wake myself up to the fact that I'm not living congruently with myself. And this has happened to me multiple times, and I'm sorry for anybody who's followed me for a long time and you already know this stuff, but you know, I was on the pathway to become a lawyer. I was a year and a half out of finishing my law degree, and I am not a lawyer at all. And the more time was ticking on, the more and more depressed I was becoming, the more and more I was getting physical symptoms to the point where I couldn't even get off the couch, and I was sick and I was nauseous because I wasn't living in alignment with my truth. I was doing it for to meet the values or my perception of other people's values who I wanted the approval and respect and love from. And the same thing happened when I first came out of school. And I let one of my brothers decide what uni degree I should do just because he chose it. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know what I want to do, so I'll just do that. And at the time, I did that business degree, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll become a financial planner or an accountant. And my initial wanting to, what I remember back at school and kind of starting to think about what I really wanted to do, I actually wanted to become a psychologist, and also I was thinking around forensic science before that. And two of those things that just really fascinated me. And I remember having people in my life tell me, no, you shouldn't do that. There's no money in it. You'll never get a job. You should do this instead. You should become a lawyer instead. You should become an accountant instead. All of these sort of things, projecting their values onto me, and me doing it. Nobody else is in control of the decisions that you make yourself, you know, just like I did. But I was subordinating to a bunch of other people's values that, you know, I was putting on a pedestal, and ultimately that led me to a life filled with uncertainty, no clarity, lacking direction, lacking self-esteem and self-worth, feeling depressed, and all at the same time probably just trying to hide it because I thought that was normal, you know, and I didn't realize what was wrong. And so what we need to do is utilize the power of our depression, the feedback that our depression gives us, the feedback that we get when we are lacking energy, motivation, drive, self-worth. All of those things are feedback mechanisms to let you know, to wake you up to the fact that you are not being true to yourself, and maybe you don't even know who you got to be true to. So you've got to go on that journey of discovering who you really are and having the courage to align fully with that. Be all of who you are. And I am so in the belief that every single one of us, when we can get you to that place of authenticity, to that place of alignment, to the place of your truth, then ultimately from that place, we can awaken your creative genius, and you've got it. And if we can get you clear on those highest priorities and those highest values, we can discover the truth of what your purpose and your mission and where your drive and inspiration comes from. And it is so not as difficult as most of the self-development industry makes it out to be. But if we can get you clear without all the idealistics and the shoulds and all of those things that pull us further and further away from the truth of who we are, and actually get real and actually tap into your inspiration and your truth and get you all to that place, then I guarantee you will awaken your creative genius, whatever that is, and it's going to be so different to the next person. No two people have the exact same values, and anytime we're living outside of our own true values, we will enter a state of depression, and it's not bad. It is there to wake us up. So I really hope that today's message is of value to you guys. I hope that it's got you thinking about where in your life things aren't adding up. You're lacking clarity, you're lacking energy, you are feeling depressed, whatever it is. And I hope that it is going to get you to look a little bit more direct at what's really going on. Ask yourself, what are my highest values? What is most meaningful to me as an individual? Not filtering it through anybody else in your life or any of your expectations that you've projected onto yourself, and ultimately just getting clear on realistically what they are. And you guys definitely know that I've been pushing you directly to drdeanmartini.com. Go to the values determination test. It's all free. It's the best I've found so far, and I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've done a lot of work around values. I'm telling you, just get real. Go through the process that Dr. Demartini has put there so kindly and generously for you all to get clear on the truth of who you are and stop, get out of that depression and start getting the energy and the direction and the clarity and the courage to live authentically. And that's all the work that I do. It is my absolute purpose and mission to help you guys out there do exactly that. So on that note, if any of you guys have not yet filled in my form, which is just a few really quick, simple questions that will allow me to uncover and understand what's going on for you at the individual level, so that I can make sure that I'm tailoring these messages to all of you guys, then I would really, really appreciate each and every one of you to fill in that form. It might only take a couple of minutes, and it would mean the world to me to know how I could be of more value to you guys. And to everybody who's already done that, thank you. I really, really thoroughly appreciate that. And lastly, before I check in with you guys, please drop a comment, please say hi. I definitely want each and every one of you to be a part of the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. So make sure you click on the link above and definitely join us over there as well. And let me check in with you guys. So I've got Kaden and Hassani and Sam and Nas and Namar and Maddie and Alexandria and Nas. I've been busy with work. Good to see you again. Awesome to see you back, Nas. Thanks for being here. And Alexandria and Adrian and Michael and Jason. And thank you, Sam and Kaden. Oh, thank you for your kind compliment there. And Alex and Elf and Sawyer Cairo and Julie, beautiful soul, takes one to know one. And Gabrielle and Elf, thank you so much. And Jared's here, and Sam, I'm inspired by your losing everything to go, bouncing back, so empowered and passionate goddess. Thank you so much, Sam. And, I think we've all got those stories and those parts of our journey where we have definitely, hit our own subjective rock bottom, whatever that is, without comparing to other people. And definitely, it is in those moments, not in the moment, but they're the kind of like those gifts wrapped in sandpaper, as I think Lisa Nichols says. So, when we don't know the gift at the time, because it's pretty painful to open up, but upon reflection, and if we have a growth mindset, that we will always learn and take the value from every experience, positive, negative, whatever we project it to be, then ultimately we will always grow from it, and we will always be able to add more value to the world and ultimately access more fulfillment through our journey of discovering it. So Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. And Jared, love your work. Thanks so much. Thank you for being here. And I'm super grateful that you're finding value. And Tiffany and Jessica and Melissa and Pedro. Wow, 11 p.m. in South Brazil. I'll propose a toast with my friends for this words about depressive situation. Thanks, Vanessa. Awesome, Pedro. I love hearing that. And sounds like you can have some good connection and conversations with those friends of yours. That's awesome. And Stephen's here, and Ray, and Gordon, and Gabrielle, and Al, and Eduardo, and Rich, and Soy Cairo. I'm so interested in your thoughts. Thank you, Soy Cairo. I'm loving that this is interesting to you because I love sharing my thoughts. And Tess and Bill, thank you so much. I totally agree with you on what you were saying. Hope you have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much, and amen. Love it, love it. And Tess and Bill, thank you. I'm super grateful that this is resonating with you, and I'm definitely wishing you both the same. That's beautiful. And Soy Cairo, you are so welcome. Thanks for being here. And Lucy's here, and Huss. V, I can't even begin to tell you how all of this resonated on a whole new level for me now. Yes, yes, and yes, I can see so clearly how my goals that weren't linked to my highest values resulted in frustration and futility. So grateful to have this this fresh start, and Dr. Demartini's The Value Factor is awesome. I love that, Huss, and I'm so excited that you've been diving into Demartini's work because of the immense value that it's added to my life and all my coaching clients. I take through a lot of his work, and I know how much value they find from it, and so I so appreciate that you're doing that, and thank you so much for sharing, Huss. I always appreciate that. And Mitke and Frank and Elizabeth from Colorado, awesome. And Rich, awesome. Yes, I love that you're loving the Limitless Potential group. We love having you a part of it, Rich. And Pia, hi, my old father has struggled with depression. Now he shared that he has been starting to feel elements of it again. What can I do for him to stop it from going all the way to full depression? Pia, my heart is with you, and what a beautiful soul. And I can really feel that you want to be of value and support and service to your amazing dad. And so what I would absolutely say to you is go and be a leader. So, what I would say to you is to go to drdemartini.com, do the values determination test for yourself. And once you've gone through that process and you've been able to identify what your highest values are, I would get you to be a leader with your dad and go through that process with him. Do it with him. And once you've done it, you've got some experience in doing it. Go through that process with him and start seeing how you can allow him to get clarity over what he values most. And then from that place, you'll be able to really help and support him in moving forward and making sure that he is living in alignment with his values. And, love is both support and challenge. It's not just all support. So oftentimes when we have people in our lives who struggle a lot with depression, or they're usually down and out, then we oftentimes give them so much support, and sometimes what they need is a little bit more challenge in their lives to say, hey, I get it, I hear you, but I see more for you, and I don't want you to just settle for this. I want to help and support you in any way I can, and I really feel like we need to get into some action. Let's start with identifying what's absolutely your highest values and priorities, and then let's get into action in getting you moving in that direction, because whatever's going on right now isn't working. So let's make some shifts and changes, get more aware, and get into action. So Pia, that would be my simple, really quick answer for you, is to make sure that you've got a balance of support and challenge with your dear dad, and definitely be a leader, get clear on your values. Go to that free resource that's available to you on drdemartini.com, values determination. Do the test yourself, share it with your dad, do it with him, and start creating an action plan to make sure and ensure that his life is reflective of his true, meaningful, highest values. Anything outside of that is going to create more and more depression, and it sounds like he might have a lot of expectations on himself, and he might have had them for a long, long, long time. So it's about reprogramming those. It's not going to be quick, but it certainly will be worth it. So I really hope that that's helpful to you, Pia, and my heart is with you, and definitely step up, be that leader, and definitely support your dad in that way and challenge him. And I so appreciate the question. And Jetty and Frank, hey, been a while since I've joined. Great to hear your wisdom as always. And I love having you back, Frank. Thanks for rejoining. And Rich, thank you very much. Battle through, praise God, and live a blessed life. Absolutely, Rich. Love it. And Alexandria, it gives you compassion for others too. Absolutely. Every struggle that we have allows us to access a new height of our compassion and be able to have more understanding for others. So definitely agree. Absolutely. And Kaden, creativity, innovation, authenticity, relationship, and travel are my highest values. I've been doing well lately, but my depressed moments only surface when I lose sight of these things. A part of me knew this, but you just brought this to my attention fully. Thank you so much, Vanessa. You're the absolute best. You are, Kaden. I love hearing that. And that is so inspiring to me to know that you have clarity over it, and now you're starting to get the experience of seeing how you feel depressed when you're not living congruently with what really matters most to you as an individual. So definitely, I've just started creating a beautiful system for myself, which once I give it some practice and I'm finding value and I'm tweaking it, I'll definitely share it with you guys. But to ensure that on a daily basis, I'm living in my highest priority actions and they're always in alignment with my highest values. So that's how we get to our creative genius. That's how we get to fulfillment in our lives. That's how we stop the depressive states of being and we access our energy and our inspiration. So I love that, Kaden. Thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful. And Sam, thank you for bringing this up. This is the journey I'm on, awakening the creative genius in me and aligning with my values. Feels so inspired, empowered, and on the go. I love that, Sam. That is so awesome to hear. Thanks so much for sharing. And that's beautiful. I love that. And Carolina's here. And Gabrielle. And Kaden, question. If someone starts feeling a wave of depression approaching, what would you do to quickly combat it? Yeah, number of different things. Firstly, I really do believe that, it's all around our values. And if we're not living congruently with what's authentic to us and we've subordinated to another person's values, or we're subordinating to our expectations to be somebody who we are not, I would get clear on that. So absolutely identifying your highest values and questioning, hey, am I living in these values on a daily basis? And what am I doing outside of these values that just doesn't feel good? And how can I make a shift and change out of that? And also, I'm a big believer in actually being grateful and focusing on a reflective process at the end of the day, which allows you to identify, hey, what were the opportunities that I got to experience today? And being grateful for those. I've started doing this since I was sitting with Dr. DeMartini with my laptop at the Master Planning for Life program early last week. And what I was doing was he actually brought his laptop out and he was showing me this huge document that he has, that we got access to our own versions of this document at Master Planning, but it's his life's work. So he works on this document each and every day, and every single day he goes over and lists what were the opportunities that I've got to be grateful for today. And he does anywhere between 4 to 40 interviews every single day. Living my dream life. I love interviews. As you guys know who've been following me for a long time, I love questions. They absolutely energize me and inspire me. And he showed me this document, and I'm feeling super grateful because he actually had me in this, because I'd just done an interview. I'd conducted an interview on Dr. John DeMartini the night before, or a couple of days before at this time, and he had me in there, and he had a picture of me. And when I get this video over to him, when my internet, I'm gonna have to go out and sort my internet out today, but when I can get this video interview, he's gonna put that in his document too, of his opportunities and his gratitude. And to do that every single day, it's Tony Robbins who would say that gratitude is the antidote to fear, and depression is you seeing you're in fear because you've got a blueprint or a model of the world which is really a fantasy, because it's not matching your reality. And so I would get you to think about that. So I would get you to identify your highest values, create vision that is in total alignment with your authentic highest values. So you're not projecting some fantasy that's living in some other set of values, and you're actually creating your reality, because you're going to be spontaneously inspired to live and take action in alignment with your highest values. So I definitely get you doing that, and I'd also have you doing a reflective process, which is identifying all the opportunities that you had that day, and also spending the moment to be grateful for them. If you were to do those three things, identifying your highest values, creating vision in total alignment with the authenticity of your values, and create a reflective process of opportunities and gratitude at the end of your day. Oh, I want to throw one more thing in, and to also start your day with asking yourself a quality question, something like, what are the highest priority tasks or actions I could take today that are in total alignment with my values, that it will get me one step closer to my vision, which you've already identified that is currently in complete alignment with your authentic values. Done. Hope that was of value. I hope you might need to rewind that, because sometimes I can talk a bit fast. If that was of value to you, I hope that you take it on board. And I always appreciate your questions, Caden. I'm excited. I've actually got a couple of interviews lined up where I'm going to be interviewed on a couple of different podcasts, and I'm super excited. And this is just an example of when you get in alignment with the truth of who you are, your values, and you get clear on your vision. Literally on the same day, I got clarity over a new level of my mission and vision. I got 2 emails asking me to come and they really want to interview me on a series of different interviews and podcast episodes. So, you've got to know the power of this stuff when you can get clear, authentic, and align, and you're grateful, and you look and your eyes are wide open to the opportunities, and you put yourself out there authentically. You generate everything that you need moving forward, and you open up more and more opportunities. Whatever you're grateful for expands, you attract more of it. So make sure that you're definitely doing that. So I love that, Caden, and Summer's here, and Heru, and Gabrielle. Look forward to watching on replay. Awesome. I can't wait to hear your feedback, Gabrielle. And Jodie's here, and Heru, thank you so much, and keep shining to you. And Gabrielle, have been reading about how gut health affects anxiety and depression. Absolutely. And I would get you to think about also how your depression in the mind affects your gut health. So, that mind-body connection is so real, and I'm currently studying a bunch of stuff around that as well, and I'm actually going to do another DeMartini course called Prophecy toward the end of the year, and he's going to spend a whole day, because that's a big piece of his background, has been he used to be a chiropractor, done a lot of work on mind-body connection. It is so fascinating, it will blow your mind. So I can't wait to dive into more of that work and be able to share more and on that subject as well, Gabrielle. I love that you're doing that research. And Gerardo's here, and Pia, you are so welcome. I'm grateful that that was of value to you. And Angel and Ram and Pia, really appreciate your time, taking the time. Namaste. Absolutely. And same to you. You guys, this is the reason why I do what I do. If you have any sort of question or challenge that I can have the opportunity of sharing a new perspective with you that will hopefully empower you in moving forward into an empowered direction, then, I so appreciate you giving me that opportunity. So I will always take the time for any of your questions, as you did, Pia. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kindness there. And Gabrielle also wanted to share this thought: when you slip on your goals, don't slide away from them. Don't slip and slide to stay comfortable being uncomfortable. Boom. Thank you so much for sharing that wisdom here, Gabrielle. I love that. When you slip on your goals, don't slide away from them. Boom. Absolutely. It's the expectation of the inevitable challenges we'll be faced with. And that's why it is so important to know what your highest highest, most inspired values are, because anytime you set a goal in alignment with what they are, you'll be able to handle the maximum amount of challenge, and you'll stay true. You won't slide away from your goals. You'll slip up from time to time. That's inevitable, and when you're on that journey, but you definitely won't slide away. You only easily slide away and don't get back on the horse when you're setting goals that are not in alignment with your true, authentic, highest values. They're lower on your list of priorities, and therefore not meaningful enough for you to stay true and committed despite the challenges. So I love that, Gabrielle. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Ryan's here. And David, exercise, change diet straight away, ask for help. Absolutely. Shifting our physiology is what Tony Robbins would say in states of depression. If you think about somebody who's depressed, and they're sitting behind a curtain, if I was to ask you, what does that person look like? How are they sitting? You'd automatically know that they'd be hunched over. They'd be looking down. Their breath would be shallow, and, we know what the physiological responses of depression are. So if we can shift that, that's one level, shifting our physiology, breathing deeply, jumping around, listening to great music, tapping into something inspiring, smiling. It's all scientifically proven to shift our state of depression through our physiology, but that's only one element of it. Physiology, definitely go for it, but we also have to understand what's our model of the world, what fantasy we're projecting that we should be living in, what are our highest values, create a true, authentic vision, align with that, use gratitude as the antidote to fear. So many different angles, and we need to go to war with it at all different angles, not just rely on one. But definitely, I love that you've shared that, David. Thank you. And Alexandria, I did the DeMartini values determination, and it's so detailed information. Most everything was under a large category. I labeled love, got to redo and narrow down. Absolutely. Yes, Alexandra, and doing your values. I love that you're an action taker. Thank you for doing it. And all of our values, it's not super easy and super quick to get really clear on your true, authentic values. So I love that you already know that you got to narrow that down from love, but definitely look more strategically, because I have in the past, and even back in December doing Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins, my values that I created at that event, no good, because they were feelings, a lot of emotions, and emotions are only one side of the equation, so you're only going to be there 50% of the time. It's not real. You need to think, I would challenge you, Alexandria, to think about the actions that you like taking and look reflectively at your daily life. Your life is a reflection of your true, authentic values. Nobody has to motivate you, inspire you to do them. You're internally inspired to take action in that direction. For me personally, I cannot wait to leap out of bed and teach. The more I can teach, the more energized I get. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on these videos, I might start off at a certain energy level, but I keep getting more and more and more and more and more energized, and probably talk a lot faster by the end of it as well, because I get to engage with you beautiful human beings, and you guys give me an opportunity to feel like I can impart some sort of wisdom that is of value. And it's definitely why I love seeing you guys definitely rejoin me each day, because that gives me feedback that I am adding value in what I teach. And that is my highest value. And, everything that I do, there is not a moment of the day that I'm not filling my mind with something that I'm learning, so that I can expand my mind. I can use myself as a guinea pig so that it can feed into my teaching. Nobody ever has to motivate me or do anything to push me in that direction. I spontaneously get out of bed, do everything, put it first. And so, you guys will always see that within me. And so I am so clear on that. Whereas, Date with Destiny in December, my top value, authenticity. So authenticity is, for me, my highest values. If I'm teaching, learning, looking after my health and beauty, and traveling, that is who I am. There is nothing more authentic than me operating in my highest values. So that feeling that gets generated from me living in the actions of my highest values is authenticity, which energizes me, So I would challenge you to make sure that your highest values are kind of more actionable. You know, DeMartini, he's researching, writing, traveling, and teaching. You know, they're actions that he takes. And nothing's really right or wrong unless it's an emotion. So happiness or passion or these sort of things that are actually emotional states of being, and we need to recognize that emotions are just simply feedback for what's going on in our lives. They're not something that we can call our top values, because they're only one side of a complementary opposite. You can't have happiness without sadness, so they're always, there's a complementary opposite, so it's only 50% of the equation. So what does that mean? You live in depression every time you're sad for a moment because your highest value is happiness? That's craziness, and that is what creates all of our inner conflicts in our lives. So definitely, I love that, Alexandria. I know you'll be narrowing that down. If you'd like any support or guidance, you know where I am. So definitely reach out, and I'd love to help you on that process as well. That's awesome. And Jose Venio, oh my gosh, I just butchered your name, but I so appreciate, I already like the description of the video. Love that that's caught you. And Ryan and Byron and Kenny and Marco and Hassani, I really need to start asking that one question to start the morning each day. Yes, what 7 things can I do today that are in total alignment with my highest values that will bring me one step closer to bringing my vision to fruition? Love it. Total DeMartini wisdom there. And Rakesh is here, and Kaden. Wow, daily quality question, opportunity and gratitude. Thank you so much. You're 1000% right. Thank you so much, value here. You're brighter than the sun. I'm rewatching this. Oh, Kaden, you're always touching my heart. I love hearing that. I love that you're an action taker. You guys should know by now how much I love action takers. So it inspires me beyond anything to know that in some way these are adding value to you, and that they're actually going to make a difference in your life because you're an action taker. So thank you for giving me that gift. That's so beautiful. And James, what would you use to instantly stop panic attacks? That's a really amazing question. So I think that what I would try and do is reflect back on those times in your life where you've had panic attacks and be able to try and pinpoint what triggered that event for you. Because often when we're in the actual panic attack, we've reverted to the reptilian part of our brain. It's really difficult to come out of that in the moment. And what's better is to use the power of reflection to identify what triggers us and start to build the self-awareness to notice when that panic attack is creeping up, so that we can then make some shifts and changes from the front part of our brain before we revert to the back, and it's really difficult to come out of. What I would say, if you're right in the middle of it, is to definitely try breathing. Breathing is to change your physiology is the greatest thing that you can do when you've reverted to the back part, the reptilian part of your brain. So instead of doing that, I would want you to use the power of intention by accessing the executive part of the brain by using powerful reflection in the times where you're not in the panic attack. Identify the triggers. What triggers you? How do you feel it coming on? Build that self-awareness so that you can stop it and identify and do the work prior to it hitting you. But if you are in a panic attack, quickest strategy is to change your physiology so that the blood can come back to the full capacity of your brain, and you can make some better decisions and uncover what's really going on. But when you're right in it, it's really difficult to get out of it through the brain and through consciousness. It's more so with physiology. So I really hope that was helpful to you, James. I so appreciate your question, and thanks for being here. And Gary's here, and Scott, awesome, and Kaden, I love your energy. Thank you. And Pam, thanks for all you do, and thank you for being here. That means the world to me. Thank you. And Mara Pat's here, and Matthew, awesome to have you. So guys, that really is my message for you today. I hope that it will allow you to look differently at depression and not victimize yourself or others, and instead be of service, get into action, recognize that depression is not bad. It is simply a feedback mechanism to get you to wake up to the truth of who you are. So go on that journey. I hope that everything that I've shared with you guys today is of value. I hope it really supported you. I hope that you may even need to re-listen to this message or share it with somebody who you know will get value from this. Maybe somebody who does struggle with depression. You know, that the greatest gift that any of you guys can give to me is sharing my content with people you feel will be it'll give value to. So I'd really appreciate that, and definitely that's my mission, to add value. So if you can help me expand that range, I would so appreciate it. And as always guys, I am sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful and amazing and extraordinary, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, Kaden, you are the best. Thank you so much for sharing. If you have any questions or comments or feedback for me, please drop me a comment, let me know. And I know I've just got Gretel joining me. Catch the recording, Gretel. I feel like this is a really valuable and powerful message today, and I really want you to get value from it. So catch a recording. I'm about to sign off, and I will see you all tomorrow. Much, much love.